right here. This stuff called Jack, because that brother is on it.
Ryan, honestly, for Davin, you should be arrested. I don't know if he thinks he's getting something back for $100. Did you possibly explain to him that?
Oh my God, that's the worst I've ever seen.
There isn't a consolation gift to Davin for participating in this league, except maybe a beanbag shaped as a toilet bowl. We can get that for you.
Yeah. You ain't on the regular weed. Homegrown.
All right, Eddie B, Steel Curtain, picking 8th. You want to talk about maybe Ricky Williams and Chad Henne first?
Well, before I address that question, I just want to say it's good to be back in Azusa. I took last year off, and I'm just glad to be back. So now that I'm back, it's on like Donkey Kong, as they would say. As far as my draft strategy, I managed to retain someone else's team, and so I decided to keep Romo and McCoy. And so with the first round draft pick, I thought I needed a wide receiver, so decided to grab Greg Jennings. Now, granted, I can't take all the credit, but it was my draft strategy. But I'm grateful for I had a little help. I wasn't able to attend majority of the draft, but I'm thankful for Eric over there who assisted me in my draft. And not being here and looking at the draft that I have is not. I mean, it's pretty good. I don't have really a lot to complain about. Like I said, I went after Greg Jennings. I needed a high caliber wide receiver, so we decided to go with him, and then come back with a solid quarterback with Mark Sanchez. I think he has something to prove coming off last year's season, and so we went from there. Until we go back to address your question with Ricky Williams and Chad Henne. You know, it's into the draft. You know, Ricky is Ricky. You know, if he smokes a few joints, he's liable to run 150 yards in a game. And Chad Henne, I just needed another quarter. I just needed to pick somebody. There wasn't really much left on the board. And but for somebody that probably don't have a quarterback or a decent quarterback, they may want him. So may be able to use him for trade bait.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about your 10th round pick, Darren Sproles. What's your expectations for that?
Well, you know, in times past, actually, I was quite surprised to see Darren Sproles on my roster. Darren Sproles in times past has always been an excellent flex player, especially when he was with the Chargers, and I've had him in that role before. And it would be that same kind of deal if I decide to keep him, maintain him as a flex option. Like I said, he gets the ball in his hands. He very well could break one free and get in the end zone. So, you know, it's an option. We'll just see what happens here in the next few weeks.
Knowing the people that you know in this room and seeing that you wasn't here for most of the draft, and you surprised that you don't have Tim Tebow. So you got Ray, you got myself, and Justin, and Rob. Are you surprised that somebody didn't holler out Tim Tebow in your favor? I just
well, because I don't have him on my roster, that doesn't mean that nobody yelled out. So let's get that clear. I'm sure somebody was probably yelling out a whole lot of stuff in my absence. But I'm grateful to Brother Stokes there and Eric, because I had my draft strategy lined up. I had my draft order intact, and so Tim Tebow wasn't even on the list. So if he had showed up on my roster, I knew it would have been a conspiracy in Azusa.
You know the box.
And on a serious note, you're going to be relying a lot on the New Orleans Saints this year. Are you concerned that you're going to be so dependent on one team to put up so many points for you?
You know, it always has its caveats of having so many players from one team. But when they're on, they're on. When the Saints are on fire, man, Breeze can hit anybody, and anybody can blow up at any given moment. So it has its advantages and disadvantages, and I'm just going to have to really play that very strategically and see who's probably going to be likely to have the better game. But, you know, there's no way I'm going to be playing them all at the same time. But
on that note, are you concerned about the New Orleans defense having to compete against some high-powered offenses in their division, being that there's going to be a lot of people looking to score points on them this year? Do you think they're going to be kind of your primary defense, or do you think you're going to maybe just have him as backup, or try to, you know, trade or look for a free agent defense?
well, the Patriots will most definitely be my primary on defense. You know, but the Saints, I mean, overall they're pretty solid. You know, they're no walkover, that's for sure. You know, but there are games where they do have meltdowns. And so hopefully, if I need to call on them, which, like I said, right now, the Patriots are getting to week 7, and depending on who they play week 7, you know, I have to throw New Orleans in there. But like I said, overall, they don't do too terribly bad, but they are capable of having a meltdown. That kind of comes with it, but I'm not looking to use them as a primary, not at all.
Okay, I have a question now. I see that
Yes, you stomp it. I mean, I'm sorry, BPO.
Yeah, I see that you drafted 2 place kickers and 2 team defenses. What's the strategy with carrying multiple roster spots with a kicker and a defense?
Well, the bye week, but unfortunately, I'm being bit by the bye week because both kickers actually have a bye on week 8. So that's really the primary reason of having 2 kickers to alternate for the bye week. So one of them will certainly have to go. And when 8 week comes around, or close thereof, I have to look for somebody else.
Either that or hope you're playing me.
Can you arrange that?
I'm sure, man. I'm sure it'll be done. Great. Well, thank you, sir.
Steel curtain.